Citations are nice supposed to be stable. My name is Sir Hampala, and okay. You're probably reading the title of this video, and you're like, Sir Hampala, I thought you did game reviews. Well, yes, I do game reviews, but this time I'm thinking of doing something very different. This time I'm thinking of doing a movie review this time, because, well, I needed something to do for like a review of some sort for this month, but unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of spooky horror games, but I have none in my gaming library. But there is one thing I can review: spooky horror movies. Oh yeah, but before we get started, sorry if you hear an echo. I'm currently at a different church helping out. It's my church's sister campus, or sister church. I don't know what it's called. But my dad's helping out for today and tomorrow. Gotta make do with what you have. Plus I'm rushing this last minute. Sorry about that. But for today, we are going to talk about two movies. One of them, the first movie being a zombie movie slash comedy masterpiece, and the second film being a found footage slash ghost story disaster piece. And now, why am I reviewing these two movies back to back in the same video? Well, they have one similarity this month. Both of them are getting a sequel. Really looking forward to seeing the latter sequel. But for those who don't know which movies are coming out that follow the lines of what I just described, those movies are Zombieland, directed by Ruben Fleischer, and The Gallows, directed by who cares? So yeah, basically, but first let's start off with Zombieland. Released in 2009, Zombieland is kind of took the comedy route for a zombie movie. It's like even on the case of the disc of the DVD, it says, one reviewer said it's like Superbad meets Shaun of the Dead. I mean, I don't really know what Superbad is, but I've heard of Shaun of the Dead, and I've never watched it, but I'll have to watch it after this video's out, if I can find it on DVD. Probably really popular. But anyway, so Zombieland starts off with a prologue of how the world became the United States of Zombieland as described by our narrator, who we get to see later on in the film. Now, Zombieland, I have to admit, it's my first zombie film, and my only zombie film I've seen. And honestly, it does the zombie movie genre an amazing justice. Like, holy crap, this film, it has some raunchy humor here and there, but other than the other humor that's there, spot on. Like, spot on. It makes me laugh every time. Now, the one thing that Zombieland has that I never thought any zombie movie would have, it has survival rules, specifically 33 of them as of the first film. Now, not all the film rules are. Sorry, air conditioning is going on. Sorry about that. Now, if you don't know all the Zombieland rules, well, not all of them are described in the film, but they are described in the Zombieland Wiki fan page. Now, there's one complaint I have about Zombieland's rules. There's no rule number 5. Like, that's the only rule that doesn't exist. It's kind of weird. I hope they resolve that problem in the sequel. But anyway, Zombieland has an all-star cast with characters Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock, played by Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin, respectively. Now, you get to see Columbus first. Now, they're not. That's not their real names. That's just their names on where they're heading towards. Like Jesse Eisenberg's character is heading to Columbus, Ohio. Jesse Eisenberg's heading to Tallahassee, Florida. And I guess he gave the nicknames to Wichita and Little Rock and I guess Tallahassee gave them the nicknames when they first meet. I don't know. But another thing that Zombieland has, and it gets you hooked right off the bat, the intro. Holy crap, the intro. It basically shows how zombies took over the world and everybody and like attacked all their victims. Well, attacked all their victims, but it's in slow motion. The entire intro sequence is in slow motion and it gives you the rules first, like rules 1, 2, 3, and 4: cardio, double tap, beware in bathrooms, and fasten your seatbelts. But after fasten your seatbelts is like shown and displayed, it legitimately gives you the most bad donkey. I would say bad A, but I'm at a church and I don't swear. Like, it gives you the most bad donkey intro sequence ever. It's better than the Shining's intro, which gives you that whole paranormal sequence of what's to come, of all tents and all that. But anyway, the Zombieland's intro not only is in slow motion the clips of everything going to heck and in slow motion, but Metallica's "For Whom the Bell Tolls" plays. If that doesn't sell you I'm sold, I don't know what. It doesn't sell you already, I don't know what does. But anyway, out of the whole film, the characters are kind of the weak point. Not the character development, that's amazing. I mean the character roster. There's the 4 characters, like I mentioned earlier, and only 3 other named characters. That's 407, Jesse Eisenberg's character's Columbus's next door neighbor, who is his first glimpse of the zombie apocalypse. Oh yeah, spoiler alert, sorry. Meant to make a disclaimer about that. Oops. And then there's the zombie clown, who honestly is a nightmare in itself. I mean, zombies are pretty scary and clowns are terrifying. Imagine a zombie clown, like Pennywise in The Walking Dead. Nightmare fuel. But yeah, and then another strong character in this movie, who dies after being introduced shortly after. Spoiler alert. This movie has a Bill freaking Murray a cameo. Seriously, if you haven't watched this movie, I highly recommend it. Now, I would spoil the whole movie, but I don't roll that way. I just wanted to show you guys the character. I just wanted to tell you guys about this movie. For my reviews, I give Zombieland a 4.5 unlisted rule number 5s out of 5. Now, onto the crap fest. The Gallows. Now, I personally heard about The Gallows a couple years after it was released in 2017. The movie, coming out in 2015, it's not good at all. The Gallows starts off with a clip of a play of The Gallows. And it shows this one guy who plays Hangman. Well, he basically plays the hangman, and that's how he ends up dead in the movie. Hung. Now, my first complaint with this movie: why does the school actually have a noose as a prop in their high school play? You know that's an accident waiting to happen. Why have it? Now, second complaint: why actually have a kid's head be around the noose during the performance? I mean, you're cruising for a bruising, or in this case, a hanging, which, spoiler alert, happens in the film. And third of all, and this is my biggest complaint with the film, why try to revive the play in like 18 years later? Seriously. I mean, it caused a student named Charlie Grimmel, who's the antagonist, to die. Why revive it? If, you know, especially if you're still going to have that noose prop, you know somebody's going to get hung. So anyway, the characters, unmemorable. Like, I only remember the 4 characters who break into the school and tamper with the setup of the gallows. They suddenly hear this noise from outside the auditorium. What was it? I don't know or care. Now, oh yeah, disclaimer about this film. I've personally never seen it, but I've seen clips and bits and pieces of it on YouTube to understand the whole concept of the film. Now, Charlie Grimmel, the kid who got hung in 1997, at the time, turns out in a news story that was playing during the film, that was played during a part of this whole film, it shows that Charlie Grimmel was the understudy of the play. The original guy who was the main lead character's dad, such plot twist, I guess. He was the real actor who was supposed to get hung that day. Charlie was the understudy, but the main guy's dad, but the primary dude's dad, he called in home sick, and it resulted in Charlie's death. Anyway, it's just, I guess it's a plot twist. It's not supposed to be a plot twist. I think not, honestly. But anyway, so the four characters try to escape. The secondary guy character tries to crawl through the air vent by climbing up a 7-foot ladder. Okay, this is not an yeah, I'm expecting an accident waiting to happen. Spoiler alert, it does. He falls like 7 feet up in the air onto the auditorium floor, where he didn't die, but his leg ended up poking through his skin. You can tell because on the dude's camera, there's a bloody stain on his jeans, and I mean there's no bone, but you assume there is. I don't know. But basically, his leg's screwed, and so is his life, because his girlfriend, whose name I don't remember or care to know, she runs out of the auditorium calling, I guess the main character's name was Chase, and I think the primary girl was Pfeiffer? I don't know. She runs out, to the auditorium, the door slams shut, leaving the jerk to, I don't know, die. Yes, he dies from Charlie Grimmel. And basically, he doesn't realize that he's dying until he's skyrocketed up in the air by a noose around his neck. Yeah, he dies, apparently. But honestly, it looks, I don't know. But then, a few minutes later, in a school hallway, his girlfriend faces the same fate while being drugged and was dragged through the hallway into the auditorium, and she's dead too. I'm just going to spoil this whole film so you don't have to see it. I'm saving you money. You're welcome. Anyway, so then it's Chase and Pfeiffer. They have to get out of there. They pull the fire alarm. They embrace. Then Then Pfeiffer notices a shadow through Chase's camera. Did I mention this footage? Did I mention this movie was found footage? I think I did. But anyway, the next scene, after they pull the fire alarm, Hangman, Charlie Grimmel, appears behind them. And they outrun him, which they do, but then they find themselves on the stage, and, before that, they find the bodies of the couple, the unhappy couple. But then they find out, but then Chase decides to sacrifice himself to save Pfeiffer's life. What? Okay, when I saw this, when I first saw that clip, I was like, dude, why make a sacrifice? Why make the ultimate sacrifice? There's no need. There's literally no need. Like, I'm freaking serious. There's no need to make the ultimate sacrifice. What are you doing? So, his plan is to save Pfeiffer's life by, I don't understand how this works, by stepping his head through the noose and reenacting Charlie's death. And Pfeiffer, I guess, gets possessed by Charlie, who acts out, but Chase realizes at last minute that Charlie's right behind him. Yeah. Noticed a little too late, though. Charlie causes the prop malfunction. The floor beneath Chase literally falls, and he's hung, dead. And this is the ending, by the way. The ending is among one of the worst horror movie endings I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of crappy endings to movies. I've seen a lot of crappy endings. This is among one of them. This is among my top 10 worst horror movie endings, or movie endings in general. But anyway, breathe out. The ending is edited badly. It's acted badly. This dialogue is written badly, and the delivery is made badly. Oh yeah, and the movie still has 5 minutes left until the credits. What do we do during those last 5 minutes? Find a police cam, of course. What? Like, seriously? You transition from a high school found footage to a police cameraman, to a camera mounted on a police officer's shoulder. So apparently, Piper, whatever her name was, and her mom are now being raided by 2 police officers, and one of them enters her room. She sees a bunch of hung stuff, and she sees a lot of hangman-related props. I don't know where she got those. And she finds Pickled Pepper. Let's just call her that. Pepper. Pickled Peppers. Why not? And her mom on her bed, brushing her hair, watching the Charlie Grimmel footage. And even the police officer recognizes the footage, saying, Charlie Grimmel? Looks back to Pfeiffer and her mom, or Pickled Pepper, Piper, whatever her name was, and she says, you shouldn't say that name, directly at the police officer into her camera. And he calls for backup from his buddy, who is being attacked and hung by Charlie. And so and before he can even act to help him, the door slams shut and locks, tries to open it, he turns around to fight Pickled Pepper and her mom, and Charlie's right in front of them. He gets attacked, and the police officer gets attacked, and the movie ends. First of all, there are so many issues with this movie, I don't know where to start. Like, at the ending, it makes no sense. Why add that police scene to the movie? I mean, for real, like, if Charlie was a real ghost, he would be haunting the school, the high school, not Pfeiffer's mom's, not Pickled Pepper, Portia, whatever her name is, house. And her, like, seriously, that makes no sense. So, I give this movie 1.5 1.5 nooses out of 5. Like, it's like, some people said it scared the HE double hockey sticks out of me. From what? For being that terrible? I mean, seriously. Did it scare you that bad due to how cringy it is? Did cringiness scare you, or were you actually terrified? If you were, you have some deep issues. So yeah, it might, even though the budget was 100, even though the movie did terrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, like seriously, it got like a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter and an audience score of 27. It was bad. And even though it got really bad reviews, it did amazing in the box office. Like, the budget of the film was $100,000. It made $40 million on the box office. It gained like $39 million. How? I don't know or care. But nonetheless, so these movies might be, well, one movie is a masterpiece, the other being a disaster piece, but like I said earlier, they're each getting a sequel. I look forward to Zombieland Double Tap, but The Gallows Act 2, it better be exponentially greater than the original film. I highly doubt that. So yeah, I think that'll do for this movie review. I've talked a long time about this. I've talked a while about this, really. So yeah, Zombieland Double Tap comes out next Friday, October 18th, and The Gallows Act 2 comes out October 25th. Let me know in the comments below, which movie would you prefer to see? Zombieland Double Tap or Gallows Act 2? Personally, I'm more in favor of Double Tap. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, drop a like you're dropping the bass. Wow, wow. And give the subscribe button the similarity smack. And I'll see you for the night in the next video. Toots!